So maybe you can tell us what she would say about energy right now. It's been this incredible month. We look at Exxon's performance. How much of it is in the rearview mirror already?
Well, that's a good point. We're getting to sort of slightly scary levels here. As you mentioned, we're just about $90 Brent. Actually, we think 120 is a problem. So we do think that there's still quite a long way to go. But we're definitely worrying that, with OPEC struggling to meet volumes, but above all, the uncertainty around Russia, which is, clearly makes the OPEC meeting somewhat irrelevant here today. We could get into a severe spike situation, and we want Goldilocks. We don't want spikes, basically.
And we've heard this time and again, even from Exxon itself, which says it doesn't want higher oil prices. Is there anything the U.S. can do about that, or normally we'd say, well, this is the conundrum for investors. People are happy to drill, but they don't seem to be as happy to drill as they might have been 5 or 10 years ago.
Well, I think the administration could get somebody who knows something about oil involved. That would be great. In all seriousness, it's been pretty lamentable how bad U.S. policy has been in this environment. The SPR, you could read in my research, we thought the SPR release that was announced, was clearly going to actually serve to increase oil prices, and the list goes on. And by the way, these crude prices imply higher gasoline prices at the pump that we haven't seen yet. They're in the post. So there's a number of issues. The other question that, Kelly, if I could ask you to ask, would be, does Saudi want higher oil prices? Because of the administration's mishandling, if you like, of world oil, I think the Saudis are prepared to have slightly higher prices than they might otherwise do if they were more well disposed towards the administration.
And to your point, there's so many things happening geopolitically right now that make it a giant headache. So the risk is a spike to the upside. Which of the stocks do you like the best right now? And then I want to ask you about nat gas, but on the oil, on the energy and production, exploration and production piece of it, the oil majors, who do you think would be the best investments beginning today?
Well, as you know, if the oil price is in a Goldilocks $90 environment, then you can pretty much buy any of them on the upstream side. We've been highlighting Shell into its results tomorrow just because of Exxon's result yesterday. Shell's got a very similar asset base. Sankey has lagged, but has refining. We've seen Marathon Petroleum today, which is a great story. Have very good refining results. So they're pretty much all working. Our long-term runners and riders have been the likes of Devon and the Permian players. Any of them, ConocoPhillips, they've all got much better strategies, much better management, and they're all together much more attractive. And as I say, our main concern actually at this point is really whether we spike into a recessionary type oil price,
right?
As opposed to really having a major problem with any of these oils. They all look great. Hess is another name we've been talking about this week.
Yeah, we always love the Hess trucks. So let's talk nat gas for a moment, because that has been spiking a lot lately. What comment would you offer there for investors who are curious if they should be getting exposure?
Welcome to being very late. And I think, having said that, we were all quite bearish about natural gas simply because you're maximizing the demand side somewhat here because of infrastructure limits. Again, the administration has proven itself not to be helpful to really developing what we need to develop, which is natural gas to offset higher levels of interruptible power from things like wind and solar. We should be encouraging gas pipelines. You've got New England here burning a couple of 100,000 barrels a day of oil. It's absolutely insane when you could be using gas from the Marcellus. So basically, it's not an obvious thing to do to buy gas right before a Texas winter storm in February. But it's interesting that the back end of the strip has moved up a lot. So the futures price has moved as well. And generally, the picture for U.S. natural gas is excellent. I don't think it'll stay up necessarily as high as we are right now. But obviously, you've seen that Europe is really depending heavily on U.S. natural gas imports. And so the secular natural gas story is great. I'm just not convinced I want to wade in February right before a Texas storm.
True. Fair enough. All right, Paul, it's great to have you here today. Thank you. We'll check back in soon, I hope.